from St. Augustine, Florida. More specifically, where Juan Ponce de Leon supposedly discovered the fountain of youth. Right here behind me, we have a demonstration of a pulley system. And basically what happens is you have each of these barrels is 60 pounds. Now the difference is that they are not all easy to lift. Now if you're in shape and you've got it, then yes, of course this one with one single pulley is going to be easy for you. But unfortunately for me, this is as good as I can do it. Now, we have this section that has a 2-to-1 ratio, meaning there's 2 pulleys, right? And that was a little bit easier to carry. And now this one has 4 ropes and way easier to carry. Although it didn't go as high because there's a knot, but definitely was not much of an effort for me. And so this kind of brought to mind about how what our purpose is in community. Community comes in and helps lift us up when things are very difficult. For instance, when we try things out by ourselves, it can be a little bit harder. But when we start adding more support, caring of each other's burdens, it makes it a whole lot easier. By the way, this is referred to as the principle of mechanical advantage. So basically saying that the more pulleys you have, and a physicist can correct me if I'm wrong, the easier it'll be to carry something heavy. The Spanish actually used these to lift heavy cargo. And it wasn't just one person pulling, but you still have that sense of everybody working together to move a very, very heavy object. Anyways, I hope you enjoyed today's service. May you be blessed and continue living a life of confident gospel living. Have a good one.
We're going to sing Open the Eyes of My Heart, Lord. Here we go. Here, sing on. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you, yeah. I want to see you. Come on, sing with this, everyone. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. Sing, I want to see you. To see you high and lifted. To see you high and lifted up. Shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power. Pour out your power. We love to see you, sweet sweet holy, holy. Open the eyes. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. Sing, I want to see you. Let's sing that again. Open the eyes. Open the eyes of my heart, Lord. Open the eyes of my heart. I want to see you. I want to see you. Sing, to see you high. To see you high and lifted up. Shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy. To see you high, to see you high and lifted up. Shining in the light of your glory. Pour out your power and love as we sing holy, holy, holy. Let's sing that. Holy, 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 holy. We sing holy, holy, holy. Yeah. We cry holy, holy, holy. I want to see you. Let's sing that again. Come on, everyone. We sing holy, holy, holy.
Hi, my name is Pastor Gabe. I'm so excited to get the opportunity to introduce our guest speaker for this week's service. Her name is Tracy Barcinas, and she is my coworker. We met at a memory care facility called Vineyard Place. That's where we take care of residents who have dementia/Alzheimer's. And in my time working there and just observing her from far away, I knew there was something different about Tracy. The way she conducted herself with the residents, with her coworkers, the amount of patience and kindness and just positive words that would come from her mouth. And slowly we began to have conversations, and quickly realizing that she was a believer, we began to edify each other, suggesting songs that we would listen to, worship, messages from different pastors. And I'm just so happy that we get to hear her testimony this morning. She has an incredible life experience, very challenging, and a multifaceted amount of challenges. And I firmly believe, church, that my story is not going to reach everyone. But you know what? That's the beautiful thing about the church. We all have a story. We all have an experience. We all have testimonies that can reach different people, all for the glory of God. And isn't this an exciting thing to be edified as believers in His body? So I hope that you are blessed by this testimony of transformation, and know that nothing can stop from the love of Christ transforming your life. Stay confident in Him.
2 Corinthians 5:7. For we walk by faith, not by sight. And Jeremiah 29:11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper you and not to harm you, plans to give you hope and a future.
Hi, I'm Tracy, and I know Pastor Gabe from work, and he asked me to speak with you guys.
I was raised by a single mom. My mom was diagnosed. She's bipolar schizophrenic with 7 different personalities. I mean, that wasn't always fun. There was a lot of violence. There was a lot of abuse, a lot of alcohol, a lot of drugs in the home. I'm the oldest girl. I have 3 younger sisters, and I have an older brother, and it was very hard. Growing up with a mom who suffered with 7 different personalities and, you know, bipolar, it was very hard. My mom multiple times tried to attempt suicide. There was times where we had to, you know, we're at her bedside finding her overdosing, or, you know, times she slit her wrist, or just different multitudes of, I mean, there's a time my mom would tell us the Russians were coming and we had to respond. And as a, you know, a 10-year-old, how do you respond to that? How do you respond to the Russians are coming? And we didn't even, you know, at that time, mental health wasn't even really an issue. Like, nobody really talked about it at all. And then how do you tell your mom something's wrong with you? You can't, you know, I mean, it's disrespectful. You just don't talk to your mom about that. And taking psychotropics is not something that was really put out there. So medication wasn't available. It was very trying, very difficult. But there was a point where my mom was put in a psychiatric home because she attempted suicide, and I believe I was 12 years old, and we weren't allowed to tell anybody, so I took care of my younger siblings. What was a 12-year-old to do with a 5-year-old and a 4-year-old sister? Like, I don't know. It was hard. It was very, very difficult. I kept a lot of things buried inside. I didn't talk much. I was very shy. To this day, I'm rather shy. I can do one-on-one, but group settings, not so much. But I just didn't talk very much. I was very sheltered, very reserved. And I think, too, because I saw a lot of things going on in the home, my mom didn't allow me in the outside world, because I think she was afraid I would expose things that went on in the home. Because there was a point, I think for 8 months, my mom kept me in a closet, and I was only allowed to go to school and come home. And and when my mom was at work, I was allowed to go outside the closet, and I was able to go to school, clean the house, and before she came home, I had to go back inside the closet. And that was just part of her illness. It kept me in a very dark place. It kept me, I didn't feel like I had an outlet. I didn't know how to express emotions. I didn't know how to express feelings. My interpretation of love was very dark. My interpretation of love was, you do this, and if you respond to what I'm telling you to do, then that's love. I obviously didn't have no self-worth. I didn't obviously think much of myself. I just knew I was looking for something, and I couldn't translate what I was looking for. I just knew, I guess I was longing to be loved, but just in a very dark place. So I accepted anything that made me feel accepted. I came home one morning from dropping my children off from school, and I was asked to come assist because someone was bleeding. And as usual, I went, and what I walked into was a woman had stabbed her husband. Now, unannounced to me, like, she was still in the home, the children were crying, and it was just an awful scene. Fast forward a little bit, because of the nature of what I've seen, it was all day, it just sat on my heart. It was just disgusted. I literally watched a whole family fall apart. The children was taken by CPS. The husband went to the hospital, and the wife went off to jail. So that was 10 o'clock in the morning. About 8 o'clock at night, I didn't know what to do. I was sick all day, so I went for a walk, and in that moment, all I knew how to do was just pray. And I said, all right, Lord, and mind you, I have not prayed in years. I have not stepped foot in a church in years, and I just prayed, and I said, all right, Lord, I don't know what your purpose is. I don't know what you have me here, but seek me, because I'm seeking you. And I just had to open up my heart, and I had to listen. And I struggled, like most people. And I started going to church, and, lost, a lot of times crying, trying to figure it out, joined several groups, and tried to just figure out things. But it was at that time that I felt the Lord was preparing me for what I was going to go through in my own relationship. That my whole home had fallen apart. I had found out that my children's dad was having an affair. I felt worthless. I felt lonely, a lot of void, resentment, bitterness, angry, all the things you can imagine that you can feel a low point. I felt as if I was in that closet, that same little girl that was in the closet, alone, dark, empty, and just nothing, like a piece of clothing, nothing. When he would cheat, I wouldn't question his behavior so much if he said sorry, because oftentimes when my mom would do things, she said, I'm sorry, I love you, and I accepted her apology, and we wouldn't talk about it, we just moved on from it. And so when my children's dad did it, when he would apologize, I accepted his apology, and we just didn't discuss it, and we moved on from it, even though in my heart I knew it was wrong. I just set my heart on the Lord, and I didn't seek anything other than him. I just fought all my battles in prayer. Now, it wasn't easy, and I just, there was a lot of things that I would do. Even though I knew I would pray, I knew I would attend church, I had a lot of bad habits still. So I was hearing the Lord, but I wasn't obeying the Lord. And there's a lot of times that my prayers weren't being answered. And I was still in my relationship. So about, I don't know, I want to say like a year later, I was driving home from work, and I was like, all right, Lord, like, here I am again. I've been praying for over a year now, and I've tried to fix my relationship.
I've been going to church and I've been trying to just, do things, and it's not working. Well, that weekend, it was revealed to me how much my children's dad was willing to betray me. So I'm like, all right, well, I asked for it and I'm gonna respond. I prayed and I need to respond. So I said goodbye to a 13 years relationship, and with that, I did start drinking, and I was filling voids. I was hurt, I was angry, I was confused, I was lost, and how can someone do this to me? At 13 years, you're the father of my children. Like, how can you do this? But I stayed consistent in prayer. I stayed consistent in going to church. And, at some point I realized I had to just give up the ways of the world. And what that meant to me was I had to give up my friends. I had to isolate myself from everybody. And I need to set my heart on the Lord. And slowly but surely, I was getting convicted of things, and I would find myself pacing in the house. I would find myself lonely, crying, on my knees praying, and constantly asking why, and things would be taken from me. A lot of things would be revealed to me, to my heart, about my character, about who I was, the people I hung out with, just a lot of different things in my life about me. Now, I didn't, I was angry. I'm not gonna lie, I was angry. I was very angry with the Lord. But you ask and you shall receive, I guess. And at that time now it's about 2017, and came across this guy named David, and he wanted to know, why is a pretty girl single? And I said, well, right now I need to be in a relationship with the Lord. I need to that's one thing I needed to do. I couldn't love anybody if I couldn't love the Lord. I needed to love my Father. And so we stayed friends. I quit drinking, and that was hard, because that was how I filled my voids. When I had pain, I drank. When I felt lonely, I drank. And I, no friends, so I would just drink silently when my pain would hit. When my children were gone with their father, I would drink. So now I removed drinking. I started going to the gym, and then when I was home and I was lonely, I would just open my Bible, or I would even listen to worship music, anything that would make me feel close to the Lord and just fill those voids, but to open up my heart so I could be more like him, so I can feel the right kind of love. And David's still in my life, and we finally decided to be together. And because he still kept, he was persistent. But then at this point, I had to watch David. David was an atheist. He didn't believe in God. And one thing I had told David was, I can't be with someone that didn't, have a relationship with Christ, because that's what was so important to me. Because I knew I couldn't do it. And all the times that I was lonely, God was always there. That's the only person I had. And that's the only person I need. So as David and I were going through 2019, now he's learning his walk with Christ. And I had told him that it's not going to be easy, but I promise you it's going to be worth it. It's going to be very worth it. Because he relied on me a lot. And I just told him it's just rewarding when you find your relationship yourself. And it took me a long time to realize that. And, I'm luckily that I've been surrounded with, now I have the right kind of people in my life, such as Pastor Gabe and, my church family, and, all my sisters and brothers that were prepared for me through Christ. And it's just all the things, that all the marks I was missing in life, all the miracles, all the blessings that were there that I didn't see because I was so clouded. And I know it's because I was so lost in the way of the world. they were there, but they were always available. But because my heart was set on the way of the world, but not on His, that's why I fell short. So back to David, when he was going through it, the only thing I could do for him was pray. And I would pray, and I knew he would get there when he gets there, because we all do. And we were moving along, and well, it was beautiful because in October 5th of 2020, David and I got baptized together. And it was probably like the most beautiful day of my life. Not only was I getting baptized with someone who loved me for me, who accepted my relationship with Christ, but accepted that Christ would be centered in our lives, that He would be the core foundation of not our lives, but of our relationship and our marriage. And that's what I'm just so grateful for. And I know that's not my work. All of that glory I have to give to God, because I wouldn't have been able to see these kind of things. I wouldn't have been able to see all these blessings if it wasn't for me having faith and struggling and just realizing that I have to set myself apart from the world, and I have to walk with Him. And so I am just grateful for the opportunities that I get to meet other believers and to share my love of faith, to talk with other believers, and to just daily, constantly enlighten myself inside of the Lord. I mean, who am I? Like, really, like, who am I? I'm a child of God. That's who I am. And I'm grateful every single day, because I am very blessed to look back on my life and to realize I am where I am because of Him. And I'm thankful for it. We think of transformation like a butterfly, right? It comes out of this little thing, and it just goes, and it's beautiful. Well, of course, the end result is beautiful, but the process isn't. Sometimes you have to humiliate yourself. You have to come to terms with these deep, dark places. You have to be okay of setting, of these places you've been and these experiences. You have to get to these strongholds that have been holding you down, that made you feel like the world wants you to feel. You know, anything that keeps you from Christ, you have to deal with those things in order to, I had to humiliate myself over and over and over again. I had to get to on my knees over and over to get where I'm at today, to feel that transformation. And I'm still transforming, like daily, constantly. It's not something that's just gonna happen overnight. I mean, I can't promise you that, but it's gonna happen. The closer we get to Him, the transformation continues to happen. When I realize that my reward's not here, it's in the kingdom, that I'm not guaranteed all those beautiful things. I'm not, that's I think when I start to realize all the beauty in life that He has created. That's how I know I'm transforming. Don't lose hope. Keep believing. There's someone greater than yourself. You're worth it. You're so worth it.
I come to the garden alone, while the dew is still on the roses, and the voice I hear falling on my ear, the song of God discloses. And He walks with me, and He talks with me, and He tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known. He speaks, and the sound of his voice, he's so sweet, the birds hush their singing, and the melody that he gave to me within my heart is ringing. And he walks with me, and he talks with me, and he tells me I am his own, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known, and the joy we share as we tarry there, none other has ever known.
Hi, my name is Sydney, and I'd like to invite you guys to pray with me. Dear God, thank you for allowing us this platform so that we can share your message. We hope that everyone watching is showered with blessings. Amen.
Happy Sabbath. Thank you for joining us today. We hope you enjoyed our service. We hope that you were blessed. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube so you can stay updated and connected to the Ecclesia community. On Sundays at 7 p.m. Facebook Live, we will be doing a prayer meeting, so come join us in prayer so we can pray together for each other and just commune with God and each other. We hope you have a very awesome week.